were you when the towers fell? I mean that literally, I mean, shit, some of you probably weren't, some of you not alive, fuck. Alright, for those of you who remember, where were you during 9/11? I was 8th grade. Was it homeroom or English class or whatnot? I don't know. When we heard it, we were fucking, all the teachers were fucking shitting their pants, being all quiet about it, but I remember, you know, getting shot out of East Hartford. A lot of me and my friends, we were fucking cracking jokes the day before we knew the details. As the details are coming in, we're just cracking jokes about 9/11. But, you know, like most jokes, it's funny until you take a closer look. I remember getting home and my father, you know, I think he ended up relapsing on heroin because of 9/11, both directly and indirectly, you know, because it was a trauma. It was an inherent trauma made manifest. I mean, again, nothing that wasn't going on in the rest of the world, you know. We've been part in our own atrocities in other countries, and I'm not saying we deserve it, but just saying 9/11 was, for many people, that rupture, you know, of the see no, hear no, speak no that they've been avoiding for a while. And my father, God bless him, has saved a lot of things that came out directly when it happened. September 12th. Why are things so fucked up right now? Why did things get so fucked up cerebrally? Like, aside from all the other traumas. I don't know, I think back to the great analropist, Dr. Tobias Funke, and when he said, I don't want to blame it all on 9/11, but it certainly didn't help. Total Depravity, Part 2. Here Comes the Dead. I've been in this town so long that back in the city I've been taken for lost and gone and unknown for a long, long time. Fell in love years ago with an innocent girl from the Spanish and Indian home of the heroes and villains. One sad night a Catalan squared the fight, and she was right in the rain of the bullets that eventually brought her down. But she's still dancing in the night, unafraid of what a doodle do in a town full of heroes and villains. Oh, I had the kazoo for that. So, I get into Trinity, you know. Again, not to blame it all on 9/11, but 9/11 really fucked me up as a kid. I started doing some real fucked up shit, you know, alone. I was left alone all the time. My father was, at this point I realized he'd relapsed on heroin, so, you know, my dad works all the time, so he's just sleepy when he gets home. No, Dad would be nodded out when I would get home, and I would just run past him, you know, not wanting to see, him to the right of me, a clown, nodding out. I'm sure there were times where there was, trauma warning, where there had to have been like a needle left in the arm. Still, that's how I think sad he was, because he'd lost his, he was losing, I think, his fiancée at the time. She was in the military, so he knew she was going to have to go to war. And, you know, her going off to war eventually led to her realizing she was relapsing on heroin and not going back to him, breaking his heart. And that was pretty much my father's, I think, last real moment to get, like, really, like, a lot of dignity left. That was point of no return for him up until a couple weeks ago. So yeah, that weighed heavy on me, because I'd have to see that, and then I'd also have to see 9/11 and that fucking trauma. And I was smart enough to fucking know. I did a fucking project in high school where Patriot Act Pig, you know, I was fucking, me and some buddies were, you know, once again, ahead of the curve, making some scathing political satire about the surveillance state that we were heading toward, that nightmare. Again, kids, 16-year-old kids, you know, speaking truth, as these teachers are there blind and parroting their jingoistic propaganda about fucking justifying war for nothing, you know. This fucking war that's not over. Alright? And then we, just similar to Vietnam, we tapped into the fucking opium fields, and not just the opium fields now, the fucking karma. It all comes back. You know, we've got a lot of fucking waves. That's why we're fucking drowning. Long story short, I get into Trinity College, alright? Now here's fucking, this isn't even mine, dude. I stole this from a fucking fellow drug frat member who I think I sobered up. So I always know where I am. Right there, you know. Be pretentious. Because of this dude Dan Taylor, who's this big fucking, we call him Big Red, dude's like 7 feet tall. Trinity College made a huge mistake. I mean, they made many. But the biggest mistake they made going into going to be the class of 2000, the class of 2010. Graduated from East Harvard High School 2006. Did pretty well. I mean, you know, in a very small tank. No offense to my colleagues there, many who did a lot better with their lives than I did, trust me, regardless of fucking GPA and all the fucking expectations that I had for myself, and that I didn't actually have any expectations at all, but that others had for me, that I maybe internalized too deeply, and made me drink a little more heavily, do a little bit more drugs, and maybe I would have done that anyway, but I could get away with it, I could get away with it, I could get fucking loaded, blitzed, still do great, you know. I gravitated towards humanities. It's easy to do that, you know. Mathematics. 2 plus 2 equals the Orwell. That's me. They did really well enough to get into Trinity College, and they made the mistake of rooming me, William Moffat, children of fucking drunks, little poor scrappy kid with Big Red Dan. I won't say his last name, whatever. Big Red Dan. A great dude. And again, I looked up where he lived. I found the median income of where he was living. I found out his parents' jobs. I realized instantly, oh, such a fucking rich. I still have miles in me. Like, oh man, this is a rich motherfucking piece of shit. Oh, fuck this dude. Oh, maybe I'll fucking get some shit from me, you know, some fucking free drinks out the deal. Sounds pretty good. Turned out to be a fucking, again, like me, problematic and an alcoholic and a substance abuser, but a good dude, a really good dude. We used to have some really funny chats. The first thing that broke the ice was, we were living in a room where it was kind of one room, but they were like, I was cornered off, so you couldn't quite see me. But first night sleeping, the radiator kicked in. It was late at night. There was still this sort of, it was weird. There was like almost like a late summer chill, and the radiator starts, and it makes a noise like this was the old fucking, again, servant quarters, like trin, like fucking brass, you know. Shit, we unearthed 100-year-old toilets in that fucking mausoleum, I tell you what, that Jarvis. So like, we both thought that the other was jerking off. We're just there, you know, still little boys back in town, but like, one of those grown men, 18-year-old, 19-year-old men, going like, oh my god, this fucking weirdo's jerking off right above my head. Like, we both had that. And then the next day we're like, oh, but then the radiator still making noise, so we laughed about it. And then, you know, our room became fucking a hot party fucking central. It was the second floor, Trinity College. Fucking shit went down there, man. I tell you, lots of shit went down there. I had gotten a wheelchair. I was like, don't ask. I thought it would be cool, and we'd use it for fucking crazy activities. And person lived across the hall, and this is Lincoln McMahon. Lincoln fucking McMahon. Let me tell you about Lincoln McMahon. I can't. There's not enough time. That's just different. And I'll let Lincoln, trust me, Lincoln will tell his own story. I don't need to speak for Lincoln. But I will speak of Lincoln and say that in this story of heroes and villains, Lincoln is the hero. He is the Sancho to this fucking crazy Don. He is fucking the Sam wiser than fucking Fro odor problems. Alright, this motherfucker, Lincoln McMahon, is the true hero of this story. So I will not really speak of him that much because this is a story about evil and villains. And unfortunately, you know, those who often hold the torch. But then again, fucking Lincoln was complicit too. First time I fucking met Lincoln, he's busted into my room, drunk off his ass, squeezing fucking pink children's hand sanitizer into his mouth because he looks at the back and he goes, 70% alcohol, don't mind if I do. He passes out, face first on my fucking door. On the floor, I'm just there, open door policy. People are walking on, just, again, all these fucking teenagers, and fucking their parents were still helping people move in. So they go and they fucking see this fucking Lincoln passed out. And I'm like, holy fucking shit, college is gonna be cool, man. Wake up the next day, Lincoln's gone, and there's just this little fucking puddle of pink where his face was, man. Oh, dude, it's funny. It's so funny until it's not. But we had our Duber Wednesdays, and the maid made. But whatever, nothing that you couldn't have turned around. But I think the thing that really fucked up Dan and I was when fucking that dude, Crazy Mike Blotten. Oh God, Crazy Mike Blotten living with Alexander Noble Salisbury. Weirdo. Like, I'm sorry, I don't know what he's doing now, and I'm not trying to fucking get myself really sued, but I wouldn't be surprised if it's something corrupt. And if he's fucking some maitre d' at some Eyes Wide Shut fucking shit. Did he go to Real Artways? Back then, I don't know. I can't remember. Some of this I don't want to remember, but Fune's memory, you can't help but forget, How blessed are the forgetful. Sometimes they get the better evil of their blunders. So my freshman year, Crazy Mike turned me and Dan onto opium one night. Like, we smoked some opium. I'm talking, this was like the real deal, the quiet American shit. That shit straight from Vietnam, that deer hunter shit, like, oh, the trees, Nicky. Without knowing it, in my freshman year, I was taking lots of crazy shit. And there was, I think my first real rock bottom was, I was funneling Dubra, chasing it with scotch. I drank probably probably a handle's worth of hard liquor throughout that night. I could get away with this, I think. Maybe I'd done coke, I don't remember. I was on lots of drugs. So my blackouts would be really strong. So some of the most crazy stories I can't even remember enough to tell you. And it's weird knowing that most of the people who were there won't remember either. Like, if I don't remember, they ain't remembering. So I think of all the real depraved things that will always go unspoken. That's what it's still sometimes hard for me to like I wish I could know, but do you want to know? Is it like this a memento where you're fucking just trying to make other people your enemy when really you've been the fucking villain of your own story the whole time? I don't know. Anyway, I'm there fucking getting cocked, loaded, fucking ripped, fucking like I should be dead, and I don't die, but I fucking vomit all over a bathroom. I'm locked in there. They eventually have to call EMTs. And trust me, people did not want to have to go. It's called T-shirting. They wouldn't want to do that. It would be a liability. They'd rather fucking somebody choke on their own fucking vomit than fucking have to get outside ambulances involved and ship them out. But they had to ship me out because I was in a rough state for an 18-year-old boy. Didn't die because of my genes. But my real genes were covered in probably piss and fucking vomit. I'm there in a fucking drunk tank. No idea what's going on, but eventually I come into it and just pit in my stomach and just say, hey, no mistakes were made, crack jokes about it. I get a ride back to Trinity the next morning. I go in there. Dan's there. He's like, dude, what happened? I'm there in a fucking gown. I'm like, what do you fucking think happened, man? Hey, you want to watch Requiem for a Dream? We watch Requiem for a Dream. This is his first time seeing it. I'm like, oh, you'll like this movie. Don't worry, brother. I'm gonna be on television. I just don't know when. I really had no fucking clue. But his face, dude. He gets suspended in a zany story at the end of that year, but it's only just begun, I've been in this town so long to the city. I'm fit with the stuff to ride in the rough and sunny down snuff. I'm alright. By the heroes and villains. Just see what you've done. Heroes and villains. Just see